All right, so welcome to the Team Prosperity meeting. We are well into the year right now. And what we want to talk about today is just some stuff that's come up throughout the week within the team. And if one person has questions about it, I'm sure other people do as well. So like I said, we almost are at the end of May here. June, July, and August notoriously have been slow months for a lot of industries. Power through it, set yourself up, springboard yourself into the fall and early 2022. This is about to get explosive. So organize yourself to a point that you can self-manage and then teach other people how to do this, and it'll be off to the races. Last week, we talked about language, really, and some of the ways that we're not trying to pre-qualify everybody, but disqualify with language that concentrates on power of possibility, fear of missing out, helping you funnel those people, the correct people, into the next action step. So we talked about early language that creates leads and sales, key tips to remember in those conversations, creating exact strategies, taking people from confusion to confidence, the 1, 2, 3 design that we have, learning to welcome objections, and the 5 types of people that you want to stay away from for various reasons. There's direct language in there that will really be helpful for networking, for prospecting, for even on the education side as well. This week, like I said, I just want to go through stuff that's come up. And that's really the basis of what we want to do for the meetings going forward is what came up during the week? What do people have questions about? What are they struggling with? How do we solve it? So first of all, we can take on the little goals, but realistically, if you're going to do this and you understand, you see what we see, why are you coming in with little goals? So I would like to see the goals increase because those little goals invite excuses. And when your goals are big enough, the lies and excuses are no longer an option. So if you want to make, X per month, put it out there and let's reverse engineer that back to what you need to do to make that happen, either, in the beginning stages on an individual basis, or as you grow these sales teams, because there are big numbers that are actually realistic, but you can't just drift into a number like that. You've got to come up with it. What's the goal? And like I said, what's it going to take to get there? And then just putting the execution in daily. We got leads coming from many different directions because of the way that we market. And when you look at the warm market and the common market, the social media and the cold market, we've got a little bit of difference in the way that we approach those markets, but essentially it's the same. We're asking questions, we're allowing people to talk, we're getting people's opinion, which they love to give. And that is helping us open conversation to discover, problems that they're having where we can introduce solutions and action steps at the appropriate moment. Remember, on the warm and common market right here, it's really best to lead with the mission. Why are you doing this? People can get behind that. As you branch out into more people that you don't really have that strong of affiliations with or any affiliations with, it changes a little bit, but you still want to be missions based. People are going to buy into what why you're doing something before they ever buy into what the actual product or service is. When you're talking to people, and this kind of goes on both the upfront language and the education, they don't get to choose whether or not money is working. Money is going to be working in one direction. If it's not working for you, it's working against you. So it's not a question of, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. Money itself isn't lost or made, it's simply transferred. So when you're trying to explain to people, the rule of 72 and compound interest, applying that not only on, what they would invest in, but actually what they owe, it opens up mindsets. And when they start to see, hey, I'm being ripped off and I understand it now and I understand how to correct that, it's a lot easier for you to place the product or service right there at the appropriate time. Also, follow up. We've got leads coming in now from various sources. The key and the separator between somebody who makes, a good amount of money versus somebody who makes a minimal amount of money, it's really in the follow up. And that goes across the board. That goes on, selling, recruiting, all of the things that you need to do throughout the day, involves follow up. If follow up is not part of your daily schedule, then I guarantee that you're losing money, stuff's falling through the cracks. And you definitely don't want that. You want as much as possible in the beginning stages of your business because you need the ability to be able to sort through people, sort through clients, sort through partners, to find the correct people So that comes from a big influx in the beginning. Also, when we are to the point where we have products and services that we have put up that have cost to it, you have to learn how to separate and have the client or potential client separate value from cost. There's a big difference. Remember, cost is what you pay, value is what you get. When you talk about the value of what's being returned for some of these products and services that we have, it's incredible. And that's where you need to make sure that your mindset and how you frame the conversation, and you need to get the other side thinking the same way. If people recognize value, a lot of this stuff becomes a very, very easy sale. What we're going to do every single day is just, the combination of that is going to be, the end result of what you see for this business. So if you're not that busy, make yourself busy, because just drifting through the day, those days, those weeks, those months add up. And, everything in the beginning is based on your activity. So like I said, if you don't have a lot of calendar appointments, you don't have much going on that day, manufacture some conversations, because it's going to help you with the learning curve, and it's going to help create what you're looking for, which is calendar appointments. And we talk about 12 to 15 calendar appointments, whether that's potential partners or potential clients. That's enough to really get your business going in a positive direction and try to create some traction and then velocity out of that. The appointments are, people with a reason to do something. If you got 12 or 15 of those per week on the calendar, should be good to go. And that goes back to what we were just talking about in terms of, you've got different ways to manage your day. You can be busy or you can be effective. So sometimes to create, like I said in the beginning, you just got to have as much activity as possible. But as you start to build your business, you need to have effective activity, because people are going to start counting on you. You've got things to do in multiple areas of the business model now. So learn how, like I said, to self-manage and get yourself correct first, and then teach other people how to do that. We talked about this before, but this is really, really, really important. If somebody's coming on and going to be educated or going to have a presentation, whatever it is, for the very first time, and you're stumbling or fumbling, these are the first impressions of the digital age. So it's no longer, the left-hand side, it's more the right-hand side. What you say, how you say it, understanding your business assets, command of simple technology like screen shares, and organization of your presentation. You can master that on the right side. You will make a very good digital first impression. And first impression is still very, very important. Track your emails. Alana and I have a game right now of who can have the email tracker open the latest. So, we're well over 18 months or something since somebody's opened an email or opened the email for the first time. But it's important because it helps organization. So somebody has opened an email, especially if it's an older email, there's a reason that they're doing that. So this kind of helps you understand and tier what's important. So if somebody's opening an email, they don't want to get back in front of them. And that also helps you understand, hey, it was received and not lost. Spend a little bit of your time every single day studying, learning, educating yourself. I don't care on what part of the business, and you can alternate that. There just has to be continuous education, because your money, as Grant Cardone says, is a reflection of your ability to learn and implement new things. So when you're out there, if you're continuing just to do the same thing, you're going to be stuck in neutral. Education gets you further along, and it'll get you a leg up on your competition. Just a little bit of your time. And I spend my time learning on YouTube. So if it's something that I need to implement, I'll start and stop it. If it's something I just want to learn for general knowledge, I'll watch it all the way through. But this is a great place to go and learn and educate yourself on anything you want to. So I highly recommend that a little part of your day, a little part of your week dedicated to this. Okay, this also came up this week, LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn not to try to create client conversations. I think it's more of a better B2B platform, business to business. So what I try to look for is qualified partners. And I don't recruit to sell people products. I try to recruit people who are talented. So there are a lot of filters in my recruitment process, because I don't want to bring in the wrong people. It's just a waste of their time, waste of my time. When you're looking at LinkedIn, you want to have a presence where you are talking to a certain type of audience. So keep SEO in mind, use your keywords, upload a good photo, tell your story, be authentic, showcase some of your skills and build your network. And then on the underside of that, you got to create some content, share some content, be active, not extremely active. 5 posts on LinkedIn per week is plenty. And then when you're looking at this, understand you're not in a resume type format. You're not an employee. So you want to have those links and you want to have that verbiage that entices people to open conversations with you, watch videos, read text, whatever it might be. And that starts by being big, bold. It's your name. It's that top line right there. It should be, catching. Your name is the biggest, boldest text on the page. So you need to take advantage of that. Your level of expertise, the field that you're in, this right here leads your LinkedIn profile. And then the next step of this is the call to action. So what is it that you do, or what is it that you're trying to do for the marketplace? Is your first call to action. It's your biggest. That's what they're going to see even on the searches. Using the opt-in approach, when you're talking about getting people to take an action step, well, this is the first action step right here. Message me. So anything that you can do to streamline people from, looking at you and looking at your profile to communicating with you and engaging with you, that's really the next step. So what is it that you want to have up here, your name and whatever else it is, and then what are you doing for your audience? We always talk about this. You can't be everything to everybody. So you've got to pick out people that you want to work with and recruit those type of people. You want to recruit to build a solid business. And by doing kind of like a niche market here, the diversification will come naturally from the people that you bring in. But I think concentrating on one type of person or like a group of people is easier on LinkedIn than just trying to go after anybody and everybody. And if I had to do LinkedIn over again, that's the route I would take, because when we first came in, we were connecting with different types of people from different industries. And I think if you just keep it honed in to what you're trying to accomplish, LinkedIn will return more value for you. And then finally, this is really where you make your big pitch. So you kind of had your elevator pitch. This is your big pitch. What's your value proposition? Why should they do business with you? Why should they be contacting you? Use media-rich information, video, presentation. You want people to be able to get lost in your profile to the point they are scheduling calendar appointments, they are messaging you, they are opting into contact forms, etc. Once people come through any part of your marketing, whether it be social media, it doesn't matter. You have to have effective communication. We talked about follow-up, but the effectiveness of your communication, your follow-up, it's not, one bullet. It's a collection of what you do as a whole. So email, social messages, voicemail, text, the collective nature of effective communication resolves leads. And if you resolve enough leads, you have the outcomes that you want. If you have a lot of leads that you're creating and they naturally just get dumped for like non-communication or whatever, there's just nothing happening. If you do this on the front side, you will find your conversion of leads in terms of being able to actually disposition the lead for an outcome way higher. And as you follow up, guys, remember 2 things. Don't dump truck on people. Don't just, have everything coming out. And number 2, don't go in reverse, meaning if you've gotten to a point in the conversation, you may need to do a quick recap, but don't go in reverse and try to go back to the last step or the step before. That's just an endless cycle. So you want to continue the march forward until your final action step, resolution, outcome, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Got to stand out. And if you guys, catch yourself on your phone scrolling through LinkedIn, Facebook, any of these interfaces, then you understand you've got to stand out. And that's everything. You got to create it, headlines, the pictures that you choose. You have a very small window of time to get somebody to click on your post versus continuing that stream of just going through aimlessly. And you need to start interviewing people. This is the easiest thing. It makes this business a lot easier when you learn this. And this is the biggest thing for new partners. You're not out there trying to sell, pitch, recruit. You're just starting to interview, talk to people. Do they understand? Do they know? Hey, I would like your opinion about this. And then from that information, we can lead people to next action steps. Remember, people are willing to talk to you if they think that, that you actually care about them, that when you're out there, you're not constantly in the marketplace with, all advertisements. So if you learn to network and you learn to interview and you learn just to talk to people, the market is huge for what we have. Reverse engineer, whatever it is, partner, client, I don't care. Everybody wants something. And if they don't want anything, well, that I can't help them with that. So if they've got dreams or goals, where is it they want to be? On the client side with their money, on the partner side with their business, where is it that we want to be? How can they get to where they want to be? And then are they currently on the avenue or path to get there? What's it going to take? How should they proceed? So obviously the end point is where somebody wants to be. And then just reverse engineering back to what we need to do right now today to get us on a progressive, stepping stones towards that end point. This is what I always use as my first filter for potential partners. And this is the easiest thing to filter people through, because you need to understand that you can't change people and you don't want to change people. You're just looking for the right people. So when you look at this, if I'm talking to an employee about a business opportunity that they thought was a job, well, that conversation, once we've identified that they're an employee and they want to stay there, nothing that we can do for them. Now, we might be able to do something on the client side and you have the ability to pivot, but there's no sense to go through and continually have conversations and follow up with somebody that you could have filtered out at the very, very, very beginning. The other type of person the other type of filter that I use outside of the cash flow quadrant is mindset. So I want to know, especially if I'm talking to a potential partner, do they have an abundance mindset or a growth mindset? Do they have that scarcity or fixed mindset? Because it's hard to grow and it's hard to coach and mentor people if you have a scarcity or fixed mindset. So I'm looking for people that can help build distribution, help build teams, that can manage people. And that's going to lie on the right side of this page with the abundance and growth mindset. And that even goes down to our clients as well. I want to be talking to people who, have the ability to look forward and see something positive happen in their lives. Big difference between a job and a business, guys. And this goes back to the cash flow quadrant. If somebody is looking for a job as you're out there, or if they're looking to add another job, people love to have a bunch of part-time jobs. You can only so many hours in the day, but they'll work a bunch of part-time jobs. So it's very, very important that you talk to people who are interested in starting a business versus people that don't try to mix your language to have people misunderstand just to have somebody to talk to the next day. It's a waste of time. And that kind of brings me to the point. We talked about this. Everybody's different. We're wired different. That's great. Makes the world go around. You're not trying to force pieces that don't fit. You're trying to invite the pieces that do fit to be a part of this. And then the last part of the filtering of the cash flow quadrant is, the self-employed quadrant. And this is probably one of the hardest quadrants. And quite frankly, it upsets people once they start to realize that they're not in a business. They're self-employed. They have a practice or they have a book of business. Once again, you're looking for business partners. If that person from the self-employed is looking to expand their business or looking to create something with passive streams of income, exit strategies, yes, we definitely want to talk to those people. But many people in the self-employed quadrant are actually pretty confused about what they do. We want to build our business and build our asset. So a practice means I got to show up every single day. It's all on me. It's usually 1-2 people versus a business that's free flowing. You've got multiple people at multiple levels around the country doing business. We're looking for people who want to build distribution on broker contracts that allows them, based on their skill sets and who they can bring in, to build 6-7 figure businesses on a scale. We talked about this before in terms of, financial services as a whole, but anything that we do, a business can be revolutionary or a business can be like everything else. And the larger the industry, the harder it is if you're like everything else. Revolutionary means that you innovate, you bring something new to the marketplace that has not existed in its form that creates immediate value. It's recognized. Like everything else means you have to compete. You haven't done anything different. You're going to use the same ways, the same products, the same services, and go out there and compete. It's hard to compete in a multi-trillion-dollar industry. That's why we've tried to build a business model around separating factors that give us advantages. Your potential partners, and quite frankly, this goes for potential clients too. They're wanting to know the same thing. You know, is this real? What are you presenting me? Is this real? How can I do this? And who's going to help me when I have issues? And then from our side, on the partner interview side, we're looking for, what have you done professionally leading up to this point? What do you understand about what we're doing? And then the third thing, which is the most important, what's your motivating factor? Okay, if you share our vision, what's going to actually get you in the trenches to build this out, to get you to your end goals? And then subsets of that is level of income they're accustomed to making, the level of income they're looking to make. One of the things that is important, and I think is neglected a lot of times, is you have to understand how you get paid. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but you need to understand the comps, the contract spreads, the overrides, because as you're talking to someone in the marketplace who understands distribution, who understands broker contracts, and you're not able to answer those type of questions, then you could potentially lose what could be a very good partner. So I know a lot of that stuff's boring, but you need to get through the comp section and understand, even on a step-by-step basis, you know, what promotions mean, what building means, because like I said, if people understand that language and they're asking you those questions, you need to be able to answer that, because that brings in talent. Cash flow is an important part of what we do for both sides, and that kind of goes back to the comp structure. So for the business opportunity, there are multiple ways that we earn cash flow, and cash flow is different from, you know, wages, salary, and this is going to be based on performance. And we've got an incredible, you know, and complete vertical in our business model that's based on so many different streams of cash flow that you can really set yourself up nicely. So once again, it goes back to that first kind of filter in the cash flow quadrant. Is this person talking wages? Is this person talking cash flow? Is this person talking income? Is this person talking contract spreads and overrides? So you have to be able to read your way through the conversation, get rid of the people who don't fit, take some extra time with what could be a very talented partner, and make sure you're able to answer their questions. We've got a super cycle going on. And one of the things that I really look for in conversations is how quickly, once I've kind of got some intro information over to the other side, what kind of feedback do I get? Because I'm looking for somebody who instantly sees what we're doing, is excited about the opportunity. If I'm continually having to kind of pitch it, sell it, talk it up, then probably not the right type of person. Because am I, as a manager, going to go on a daily or, you know, every few days and have to go through the same cycle? This is a great opportunity for the right type of people. So like I said, reading through the conversation, if they see this instantly, they should be pretty excited about it. You're never going to make people change their mindset. We talked about this growth, fixed mindset, abundancy, scarcity. So it's a lot easier when you're talking to people who recognize opportunities right in front of them. And you'll see, and that you'll understand that the more people that you talk to, most people don't get it. And so you'll start to think after a while that there's such a very small sample size of the population who actually does get it, it becomes frustrating. However, when you get into circles of people who understand and recognize opportunity, they are surrounding themselves with other people who recognize opportunity. So if you hit the vein of right types of people, it may be only a subset of 5% to 8% of the population, but they all hang out together. So you're looking for the right type of people, and then that vein opens up. On the other side, don't argue with people. If people don't share your vision, they don't see it, don't think it would happen, there's no point in arguing with people, because it's going to bring you down, your attitude down. You're going to take that into your next conversations, your next meeting, And if you look at, okay, we have a small sample size of the population who gets this, the rest is considered the herd, which is nearly everyone. You don't get any value out of remaining in conversations with the herd. So, be polite, be nice, but cut these conversations short. All great companies, they are continuously growing. If you're not looking as a company to grow, then you're contracting and you're dying. So even on an individual basis, this is your blueprint for what you're trying to do with the company. You're trying to hire the right people, trying to invest in yourself, other people, assets for your company. And then you're advertising, letting people, hey, you're in business, what we do, how we can help you. Hire, invest, advertise is the 1, 2, 3 punch to growing a business. So understand that, especially in the beginning of your business, you might not have money to invest, but investments come from other things. Investments come from mindset, action, intention. So understand that invest is a relative term. And that's really where you want to come up to, because if you have zero investment in something, then it's okay to walk away from it, right? No big deal, loss. But you actually do have an investment. You have a small monetary investment usually coming in, but overall, if you were to take your time and invest it somewhere else, what's your time worth on an hourly basis? Whatever you assign that value to yourself, great. Then you need to start understanding, as you're investing time into your business, the other side would be stacking up. So you need to make and come up with a mentality that I do have a business investment. I'm worth X. And as I build this business, I need to at least return that in the beginning stages to make my time worth the investment. The money situation for people coming in, if they don't have a way to invest money into their business, then they invest time into their business. If they're unwilling to invest time in their business when there's no money, well, then they're not going to have a business. So there's got to be trade-offs. If we're weak in one category, we got to make it up in the next category. But it is possible. You can build this business organically with zero money out of pocket, but it's going to cost you sweat equity. And you have to do the things to manufacture the demand in the beginning outbound versus the ability to create some inbound traffic. Your goals are just a result of your action. So whatever you want to do on a yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, it can all be broken down into those subsections. On the other side, what you do on an hourly basis right now is going to have an effect on what you're looking for in terms of your yearly goals. So understand that everything's a compounding factor. You need to be able to do that for yourself and to be able to pass that down to other people, because self-management, the ability to self-manage yourself and get things done, organize yourself, be accountable to yourself, your team, that is all going to come off, and that's going to come off on other people around you, versus the other side, which is a bunch of bad habits. You're also going to pass those down. So it's your choice about how you want to set this up going forward, because your first office should be doing the same thing as your 8th office. And if you set this up correctly, they will. The phone is the best place to get through the learning curve. Remember, this is not a scary experience. So the worst thing that can happen is somebody hangs up, somebody gets upset, but it's really, I don't see a lot of that in our business, because of the way that we lead with education. Not too many people are upset. You're trying to improve somebody's life for the better. I mean, how angry can they get if what you're doing on the front side requires nothing except for them to show up and get educated? So learn to talk to people, and fear the phone. It's a real thing. And most businesses and people, they face at some point fear of the phone. You're not alone. Many have gone before, and many have learned how to conquer this. So what you want to make sure that you understand is that if you go into a meeting, if you go into an interview with somebody and you're a little bit nervous, that's a good thing, guys. That means you actually still care about your business. It's okay to be a little bit nervous. It's not okay to let nervousness or fear grip you to the point that you don't take the activity. So like I said, being a little bit nervous is a good thing. It actually means that you care about what's going on. Learn how to channel that in a positive way for yourself. And if you are working what we consider the cold market, and you're trying to manufacture that demand, you're putting that sweat equity, you're not trying to wow somebody on a cold call. You're trying to get some general interest to the point that you're taking this conversation from you called somebody, they don't know you, they don't know why you're calling, which is basically an interruption in their life, to a planned conversation or a first scheduled interaction. Don't try to wow, you're trying to have a conversation that will get you what you want, but also get enough over to the other side. You can't cut it too short. But like I said, the way that we do this is paint the possibility, picture of possibility, fear of missing out, blended with education, blended with the fact that it doesn't cost anything. That's the easiest way to start filling up a calendar if you're using the cold call market. Some of the stuff that we have to do, some of the stuff that the clients, have to do, is, might be uncomfortable again, learning new things, going out there and getting out of your comfort zone. However, there's only two things that can happen. And one of these is going to win out, either the excuses or the dream. So when you're talking to people, understand that we don't get a choice. The only choice that we get is which one of these, according to our habits and our actions. Figure out what you want, figure out what your partners want, figure out what your clients want, then build a roadmap to get there. Inside the business, it's about working hard and claiming a piece of this, getting to a victorious stage where you've got, offices set up, you've got income coming in from multiple directions, but that doesn't go, we don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. So you're going to have to work hard, put the work in. And like I said, there's going to be offsets. There's going to be trade-offs. If there's no monetary investment, it's got to be sweat equity. If there's no money to invest, you've got to invest your time in a big way in the beginning. And you got to follow a schedule. So your communication strategy has to include, like we talked about, the effective communication earlier. Online, you're looking for a strategy that works for you, that includes some type of a website or main page you're sending people to, along with the social media strategy. It's not hard. Remember, don't be the person constantly advertising. You want to be entertaining, you want to educate, and your action steps in the very, very beginning should be for additional information, pushing people off to direct messages, things like that. Your personal sales, I think should come from a personal sales approach. In other words, if you're talking to a potential client, I don't believe in recruiting to sell. I think that's a model that doesn't have a lot of legs. So I think a good balance of understanding where your clients are coming from and understand what you're trying to do in terms of recruiting talent, that's going to build your best business. Now, sometimes we get lopsided on one or the other. We start concentrating on sales or we start concentrating on just recruiting. I think it should be even. I think about half your energy and attention should be towards both sides of the business, split up pretty evenly. Overall, when you get an office built where you've got 7 to 10 business partners that are active, they're having activity, they're dialed in, that's an office. And now out of that, you're probably going to have some additional offices come out of that, because at a certain point, somebody inside the 7 to 10, they're going to be trained, supported, coached, mentored to the point they're ready. We've got a relationship with them on a business level, probably a personal relationship. They don't need us anymore. They can go out and do this on their own. But 7 to 10 doesn't mean 7 to 10 bodies. It means 7 to 10 active partners that are having activity and that are dialed in and are, really looking to make this happen. If you do that, if you teach people, with what we've got going on right now, what we're expecting over the next 60 to 90 days, if they can put 18 to 24 months in this, get an office built, have a couple of offices come out of that, your income level should be looking, really good. And also the velocity of additional offices will really pick up. So understand that if you were to graph your progress, it's kind of like a hockey stick, because you put effort in for a while and you make some money, you have some growth, but realistically, you're going to get to a point where you just have explosive growth. You get there by dialing in and making sure that you build an office that has those 7 to 10 people in there that you're managing effectively. And as a team, you guys are starting to get stuff done on a big level inside that office, and that'll naturally branch out. We're to a point now where, some of us that aren't taking advantage of the opportunity are in a potential situation to get left behind. Same thing with clients, because we have clients signing up all the time to use this program, and they are naturally going to get far ahead of the clients who choose, or the non-clients who choose not to use this program. So once again, fear of missing out, pictures of possibility, what other people are doing, keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. All of this is important psychologically when you're out there talking to people and trying to make things happen. Failure is going to be there, guys. I think that the most success comes from the most failure. So if you're out there and you're having appointments and they're not working out in the very beginning, if you're learning from your failures and you're coming back and continuing to take those shots, continue to have those appointments, continuing to, show up, be active, and give a decent effort, things are going to materialize. You're going to get better. You're going to get more successful. You're going to get more confident. And then the other side of that is your ability to teach other people. So that's all we got for today, guys. Hope you guys got some value out of this. We'll see you next week for additional information. Like I said, on an individual basis, whatever you guys need, just let us know, and we're glad to help you.